Hey there everyone, Captain BEARDZ here, bringing you another Gears of War PC video. Let's get it. Alright guys, so this is going to be a fundamentals video, and it's going to be on one of the most important movement systems you can use in Gears of War, which is going to be wall bouncing. Now, wall bouncing is not a necessary thing in Gears of War, and you don't have to be a wall bounce king to play in competitive Gears. No, you can actually use a lot of different strategies and play very good in the game. But if you want to rush somebody, if you want to have a little bit different kind of tactics, I think wall bouncing in your movements can go a long way. So I definitely recommend learning it. Now let's go ahead and get into the controls here. Now the simple thing to do, if you want to, you can plug in a controller, an Xbox controller, and go to controller settings here and set your control scheme to tournament alt or classic alt. It doesn't really matter on the alts, just make sure it's an alt. You don't want the same buttons, your rollout and your evade, or roadie running and evade, to be the same as your wall bouncing. Now let's go over to the mouse and keyboard section, what's in the keybind sections. Now as you can see, my roadie run and invade is on shift, and my take cover / mantle is on spacebar. So what that means is that my shift is my run. So if I'm trying to run, if I'm trying to roll out, boom, I press shift. Now spacebar is going to be my wall bounce. So you want to separate these. I know it's going to take a little bit of time to get used to, but trust me guys, if you don't separate these, you're going to do those accidental rolls and it's going to get you killed. Trust me on that. So make sure you guys separate them now to get used to them, so that way once Gears 5 comes, because I'm pretty sure it's going to be the same thing, you want to be used to that already. Now if you do want to keep them the same and wall bounce, you can still use the tips I'm going to give to help you wall bounce. Now why did I put it like this is because in most PC games, when it has a run kind of feature, it's always on shift, so I made that my roadie run. And the jumping in most PC games is always spacebar, so wall bouncing on spacebar just makes sense to me. So if you guys want to follow along with those keybinds, you can go ahead, but if you want to change them in any other way, you can go for that too. Let's go ahead and hop into a game here so I can show you the wall bounce and why you do not want them to be on the same keys. Alright, so we're in a game here. Now, like I said, you can do this with a controller, which actually is a little bit easier to comprehend and a little bit easier to get used to. But with the mouse and keyboard, if you get really good with it, it can be hella good. Now first, let me go over why you want to switch the keys. Now let's picture an enemy. We'll use this cover right here. Let's picture an enemy at this cover. So they have right side advantage, and I'll go over all those advantages and stuff in another video, but they have right side advantage right now, so it means they can peek over here and shoot. They can peek over the top and shoot. They could just go right there and shoot. So they have a good advantage. They're in a good cover here. And say that I'm right here and I want to rush this enemy. I can't just go straight up and rush, because then he could just literally just blind fire and destroy me. So I'm going to go into a strategy here. I'm going to be like, I'm going to wall bounce that wall cancel, and then shoot him, because he's going to peek. He's going to think I'm going to this angle, so he's going to shoot this way, but I'm going to stop myself here. Now if I had spacebar as my roll and my wall bounce, then I could accidentally do that, and that would be not good, because I cannot shoot while I am rolling out. See, way too late, I would be dead for sure. So what I have to do is if I separate the buttons, then I can wall cancel, boom, just like that. So that's why you separate them, guys, because those accidental rolls can do some serious damage. For instance, if I'm getting shot at and I'm on a red right now and I want to wall bounce to that right there and I accidentally roll, I could be getting shot and then die. Whereas if I'm on a red and I need to get to that wall, boom, slide right into that cover, which protects me. So definitely work on separating those. That is my very first tip in wall bouncing. If you can't get that, then you're going to be a little bit trapped. So make sure you get that. I'm just switching sides here so that way these enemies can leave me alone. And never mind. They are everywhere. Alright, so Alright, so now let's go into wall bouncing. Now with the controller, wall bouncing is a little bit easier because when you initiate the animation and go into a wall, you just flick back on the stick. When you flick back on the stick, that's going to start the wall bounce cancel. So it would look like this. Now I don't have a stick here, so I have my S key. My S is my back up, so I do that and then I press S to back up. So I do that and press S. Now that becomes a little bit difficult if you're trying to combine movements. So if I want to wall bounce to that and then wall bounce to that and then kind of cancel into the middle here, I can't really do that. You know, it's not that fast when you press S. So my advice is make a little back-to-back motion with your mouse. So I'm going to pause it here and look at my mouse here. Back-to-back motion right here with my mouse. And that's pretty much how you wall bounce. So if I want to go that, there you go, just like that, right? So a little side-to-side motion with my mouse. Now, if you want to hug the wall, hug the wall, hug the wall, you can do that too. That's completely okay. But you want to try to cancel it, and the way you cancel it is a simply just back-to-back motion. So all I'm doing with my mouse, guys, is literally just this. He has the boom, so I need to take care of him real quick. Back-to-back motion with my mouse. So now you want to get used to moving forward with it. One thing that people do wrong when they wall bounce is they'll wall bounce to this wall, then they'll turn too much. And that will get themselves killed because then they're stuck all the way back here still. You want to move forward with it where you wall, and I'm already here, right? So moving your mouse is key when it comes to PC wall bouncing. If you don't move your mouse in the proper positioning, then you're going to end up getting glued to a wall, or you're going to end up missing, or you're going to end up doing one of these where you want to wall bounce to that wall and you're sitting here pressing spacebar and you're not getting anything. You have to make sure you measure distance a little and then go for it. Just like this. Alright? Just like that. So practice, guys. Get into a training mode and practice those wall bouncing. And use this in actual live matches, right? So one thing is, when I got on PC, I was a controller player. I started my Gears journey, Gears of War 1, on controller. And that's how I learned how to wall bounce, and I was phenomenal at it. Then I swapped over to PC because obviously I like PC gaming a little bit more. Went onto mouse and keyboard, and I was like, that's difficult, going to the wall and then pressing S and then trying to combo that into, yeah, it's just much more difficult. So you just move your mouse at little angles and then there you go, just like that. Just like that. So it's a little bit difficult to get used to on mouse and keyboard, guys, but it's definitely very, very possible, and practice it. Like I said, practice it in live matches. So join a social quick play, join a TDM, join a King of the Hill, and practice it. If you have an enemy, for instance, there's an enemy down there in that corner, then don't just sit there and be like, okay, first of all, initiate the smoke. That's important. This person unfortunately has my corner. And you practice it, just like that, right? So obviously I died there, stupid ass boomer, but okay, that's fine. And practicing angling forward into the enemies with my wall bouncing. Even if it's real players, guys, even if it's real players. If I know an enemy's sitting behind that cover there, they kind of have advantage here, then I know that if I wall bounce, then I probably have to cancel. If I wall bounce to that wall and wall bounce to this wall, I probably gotta do something like that. Initiate rollouts into it too, like that, with some roadie running and that. So practice, practice, practice. That's all I can say. My number one tip, guys. All right, so first tip is change your keybinds, switch wall bouncing and your shifting, or wall bouncing and roadie running. Make sure those are switched, because if they are on the same platform, it's going to be a little bit difficult. Number two is don't get frustrated, and you will get pissed. Once you switch those and then you go to do things, you're going to be like, oh no, I meant to roll out, and then you're going to just get mad and probably switch them back. Try not to get frustrated. Understand you must practice the motion in order to get fluent with it, right? And number 3 tip is move your mouse back and forth just like this. Don't go like this. Don't go crazy with the mouse and use the giant mouse pad. No, just a nice and little side to side motion. Just like that, right? Side to side motion. Just like that. Nothing crazy. Just like that, right? And number 4 tip, which is going to be my last tip, is practice. Get into training modes, get into horde mode, get into campaign, doesn't matter. Get into any modes, guys, and anytime you see an enemy, I want you to implement wall bouncing towards that enemy somehow, some way. Enemies over there, okay, I'm gonna do this, wall bounce cancel. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna hug this wall, then I'm gonna wall bounce, wall bounce, wall bounce, wall bounce, make my way to my enemy. Accidental roll, no good, but wall bounce, come here, I'm gonna rush this guy. Like that. Cancel that. He has a boom. I'm gonna hit him with a smoke. And of course, you got the PC person just in my face there. Nice. And wall. Wall. Get out of there. And you guys get the gist. Alright, so practice those tips, guys, and hopefully I will see all of you guys wall bouncing in Gears of War 4 or coming soon, Gears 5, guys. Let's look forward to that game. Let's get this community nice and strong because this game is hella hype, guys. I don't care what anybody says. Gears is awesome. Anyways, like, comment, share, and subscribe. And as always, guys, it's your boy, Captain BEARDZ. Stay positive. In the words of JD, stay positive. Peace out.